And I'll just briefly talk about the issue of election integrity, because North Carolina has been on the front lines here. You've been undermined by your own governor. You've been attacked by the Justice Department. You've been attacked by the left for just wanting to ensure that the people who are voting lawfully, and not more than once. Everyone agrees that voter ID is necessary. You do the polling at 70, 80%. You do, but the other crisis is, and of course the left doesn't want voter ID. The other cutting edge issue is certifying that someone is actually a citizen before they register or vote. Why would anyone be opposed to that? Why are they opposed to it? Because the left wants to be able to steal elections if necessary, and election integrity measures get in the way of doing that. And they play the race card, which is a false one. It's really malicious and false, because they know. If you want minority turnout to increase, you ensure the integrity and strengthen the integrity of elections. That's what the data shows. That's what North Carolina's data showed. Because unlike the left, we don't patronize minorities. We don't think voter ID is too difficult to get or too difficult for them to figure out because they're minorities, but that's what the government under President Obama suggested through his Justice Department expert in North Carolina's litigation. You spent tens of thousands of dollars with an expert saying that minorities weren't smart enough to figure out to get voter ID. That's outrageous. And of course, who's most affected by voter fraud? The demographics of the poor, right? The big cities and such. And if they think their votes aren't going to count, you think they're going to come out and vote? Of course not. They're not stupid, nor would I expect them to come out and vote if their votes aren't going to count. But if there's more election integrity, voter ID, and they realize their votes will count and matter, turnout increases. So you should stand strong and hold your heads high in protecting voter integrity, because it's a cutting-edge issue. The left is spending tens of millions of dollars in resources on this. And I can think of 2 or 3 groups on the right, including Judicial Watch, that is fighting against this. And the Justice Department, there's no one in the Justice Department yet that we can talk to. So they're not really on top of this yet. But it's a real crisis. And again, we can talk about cutting taxes and have all these discussions about what we're going to do in office. But if elections can be stolen, that's all for naught, isn't it? So it's a primary issue for the left, and I suggest it ought to be a primary issue for the right. So to the degree that you can reinvigorate North Carolina's election integrity measures through your activism and efforts with members of your state legislature and the governorship and the attorney general and such, you should. Because that's stealing democracy if you allow your votes to be stolen. We've done studies. The law requires that states clean up the rolls. Clean up the rolls. Imagine that. Make sure no dead people are on the rolls. Where someone isn't registered in 2 places at once, either in the same state or in different states. Take reasonable steps. Well, guess what? You think the states are taking reasonable steps to clean up the rolls? No. We've done an analysis recently. In 11 states, they have many counties where they have more people on the rolls than live there and are eligible to vote. So that's a pretty good indication they're not cleaning up the rolls, if they got more people on the rolls than live there. We just figured out in Los Angeles County, they have 140% of their voters are on the rolls. So the next time you hear the media deride the president's concern about illegal voting, think of that 140% figure. Or 11 states where you have more people on the rolls than are eligible to vote. So my guess is, put a number on it, there were probably about 1 million illegal votes. I won't go into the details as to why I guess that. But looking at the data and looking at studies that have analyzed the likelihood of illegal alien voting, I don't mean illegal aliens voting, I mean aliens who illegally vote, both legally present aliens and unlawfully present aliens. About 1%. So about 1 million votes. And they tend to vote 80% Democrat. So the bad news is Republicans get illegal votes too. But this ought to be a priority issue. And the left, if they don't like the electorate, they want to remove it and replace it. And if it means allowing illegal aliens to vote or aliens to vote, they'll be willing to do that.